All right, all right. We've got episode 2 of the Cutters Rule podcast. I have my partner, Luke Tosick, and we have a special guest right after Philly Nationals. A lot of people think he is Cutters Rule because he's featured so much. The reality is that his club has a camera, and he provides a great deal of content. I'd like to note for the listeners, Cutters Rule is an equal opportunity cutter platform. Hit a cutter and send it to me and you'll be featured. It's that simple. Rez, I'm talking to you. If I could describe his game in one word, it would be effortless. He never gets panicked at all, no matter where he is on the court. I've never seen someone use every single fraction of a second to casually get a ball. JK and I picked up the game at just about the same point in December of 2021. He was hired as an assistant to teach the game to amateurs like me. Of course, his trajectory is a little bit different than mine. The most amazing part of which is that JK never played high school tennis, let alone college tennis. Now he's playing against the likes of McNerney and Morgan, and I'm stuck playing against the Ceramis of the world. No offense, Cerami, you're a warrior. You know I'm just kidding.
Don't love you taking shots at my guy like
that. We have here today J.K. Thompson, who is what is your official title at Navesink Country Club?
Assistant Rackets Pro, I think, something like that.
Amongst other things.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for having me, guys.
Of course.
Thanks for coming on.
Of course.
And thanks for sending all the content.
I love it.
So first topic of business is JK played in his first nationals last year in Boston with his, I guess, regular partner now at the pro level.
Lucas Green.
We love
forgetful guy, by the way.
Shout out to Lucas. And I'd like to talk a little bit about that. You know, was it what you expected? Your first match against Hansen, who had some filthy spin that you had not seen at that point in your career.
So that was like the first, I guess, pro level tournament I ever played, and I felt like comfortable with my game. And I told Lucas before we started, I'm like, as long as we don't play a lefty, I feel like fairly confident I can hang with these guys. And the first match we had was Dan Hansen and Dan Wright. So it was like, and I told Lucas, I'm like, hey, maybe I should play the ad side just so I don't get like absolutely abused. And he's like, no, you'll be fine. And Hansen just tore me up, just absolutely destroyed me.
In fairness, it was very sunny that day too.
The sun had nothing to do. I didn't even know where the sun was. I was being spun around so much. So that was like definitely humbling. They were awesome guys too. They couldn't be nicer after just like completely destroying us. But I mean, even off of that, like you learn a lot. And then we had a good run in the back draw. I think we got to like the semis or something like that. So like that was my first time really experiencing like, you know, the top guys play. And it was awesome to watch, but also, you know, sucked being on the court, getting destroyed like that.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's funny. You said you didn't want to play a lefty, and the first is one of the lefties with the most firepower on the tour.
Yeah.
But before we kind of go more into the nationals, I guess just, you know, for listeners out there that might not know, but Lucas also works at Navesink. He's one of the pros there as well. And, you know, he's been playing on the pro tour for a long, long time. And he was kind of your introduction to playing on the pro tour. So you maybe want to kind of talk about how that, you know, happened and how you were able, I mean, not to convince him, but, you know, to kind of start playing with him there, because he's had, you know, different partners. Obviously played with Victor for a while, but he's played with a bunch of different guys.
Yeah. So Victor was his, like they were the partners, you know, together. Victor had 2 kids, and, you know, he kind of like took a back seat with the tournaments and stuff. Still did like state stuff with Navesink and everything, but just couldn't commit to, you know, traveling so much on the weekends because we only get 1 day off. So, you know, he wanted to be with his kids and stuff, which is, you know, obviously way more important than paddle. And then Lucas, you know, I knew him for a while. We taught at the Shrewsbury Racket Club, which is like a public tennis club around here. So I already knew him then, and then we started working every day together at Navesink, and you know, became really good friends. Started playing a lot. I mean, I learned so much from him and Victor. And then we talked about playing a tournament. We played one tournament and we had a blast playing together, even though we like lost first round. And ever since then, he's like, I enjoy, he's like, I want to have fun playing paddle over, results, which was like kind of a dig, I guess. But, yeah, I mean, and ever since we've been having a blast and, we've been doing well. So yeah, it's really nice of him to play with someone like with me. Cause I think the year before he played a few tournaments with freaking Drew Broderick. So yeah, I'm very fortunate he lets me play with him.
You can tell you guys are having a great time on the court, though. Like you guys are having fun. I mean, you're competing like hell, but Lucas, in the middle of points is looking over on the sidelines and talking to your mom,
not paying attention.
And I think you guys genuinely have a blast out there.
Yeah,
more so than a lot of other guys. When I'm watching some of those pro events, I think Lucas and Victor won 2 league classics, if not 3.
I think
right?
back to back, and then they were banned from playing with each other.
Yeah, then no pros could play together after that.
Yeah.
So we call that the Victor rule, the Lucas rule,
the Lucas Victor,
Navesink
the Dahl
rule.
Green
Navesink rule.
Yeah.
What do you remember any of the other matches? I know I want to talk about it because you did play Pugh and Tanaka in first nationals and then ended up playing them again in second nationals.
I think the first time was a 3-setter as well.
I looked it up. They were actually almost identical.
Oh, really?
All the sets were won pretty handily and flip-flop both times, where Pugh and Tanaka won the second set pretty handily, and then you guys won the third set. So anyway, what about the level of play? Like, did you, again, you're stepping out against Hansen and Wright. You've never played in a pro event.
Yeah.
Was the level? Did it take you a while to adjust to it? Were you?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, if you've played with me, I rarely focus while I'm playing and just constantly just like doing stupid stuff. So that was
scared to think about if you were focused.
What'd you say?
It's scary to think about if you were focused. How you'd be playing.
So that was like, I think the biggest thing, because we'd win a set 6-2 or 6-3, like, rolling, right through. And then the next set you get smoked, 6-2. And you're like, what the heck happened? And it's like, you just lose focus so quickly. And like in paddle, you really can't lose your focus for like 1 point or like even a few shots in 1 point. It's ridiculous. So I think that was the biggest thing. Just, like trying to keep your mental going like the entire time and not kind of slipping up. Cause as soon as like you lose 1-2 games in a row, it's tough to get that ground back. It's a slippery slope. So
I think even club players can relate to that, switches on a dime and you can feel like you can't lose a point and then, you can't win a point for a set after that. It's the game runs. That's for sure.
Yeah. But, every single point is an absolute grind. And you really, like there's definitely some points where I feel like I get a little tight. Like normally I'd hit a shot like if I was playing for fun, but like, reset overhead down the middle instead of like some crazy like cutter or something like that. Yeah. So
and then going into second nationals, obviously it's a little bit different, right? Because you've done it once, you had the same partner. I know you guys talk about having fun, but were expectations a little different? I mean, I know you've talked about NRT points and like, so talk a little bit about.
And Sean, just piggybacking off that also, just maybe if you could talk about, last year, I know you played more tournaments this year, but before nationals last year, your first nationals, what pro events did you play and with Lucas leading up to that? And then, kind of finding your groove this year. And I know you played more this year to get ready.
Yeah.
But you speak to that, how it's, finding more of a groove with each other when you're playing in those events, because it's hard to simulate, a pro tournament and you're not actually playing in one.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, practice wise, like it would be me and Victor against, or me and Lucas against Victor and Tyler Owens, the Bayhead Pro. So like we, this year we really didn't play them. I mean, we might have played like once or twice. Last year we were trying to play like at least once a week together. This year, not so great, but it was. So we played nationals last year in Boston.
Did you play in a pro event that year with him prior to nationals or no?
No. That was the first time we played together.
Okay.
in a tournament. So that, I mean, that was definitely tough too. But,
Yeah.
I mean, Lucas is so solid. So, I mean, and he makes it easy. He doesn't give you crap for like hitting stupid shots and stuff like that. So it was easy. And then so come this year, so that was my first pro level tournament. So I had like next to no NRT, which is new to me. I'm normally like, okay, this is my PTI, yada yada yada. Now there's like NRT, so like PTI really doesn't matter as much
Yeah.
as NRT when you get to these tournaments. So I might have had like 5. So we played Montclair in October, and then their next tournament was in Short Hills in February. So I mean, we weren't playing. He played a few more tournaments than I did with other people, but together we really didn't play too many tournaments. So it was Montclair October, Short Hills February, and then Nationals in March.
And
So
we watched you guys at Short Hills. You were in the Challenger draw and made it to the finals of that, and had to withdraw because Lucas was really sick that weekend.
yeah,
But
he likes
that
to
was a
think
great
he's Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordan would have played that and would have won it. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so I mean, so basically the whole season I didn't have any NRT, so I was basically dragging Lucas
Him
down into the challengers, and we'd have great results, but you get much more NRT for like the pro level tournaments rather than the challenger. So
Yeah.
it took us a while to get there. And then like even now, I think they count your 4 best tournaments, and we've only played 3 this year.
Montclair, Short Hills, and
Yeah, so
Navies.
to like really get our, I guess, national ranking and to get like peak NRT, we would need to play one more tournament this year
Okay.
in order to place, better in next year's tournaments.
This is a good point, talking about the difference of NRT points versus PTI. Because, like, for someone like me, I've signed up for a few Challenger events this year,
Mm-hmm.
and those don't go based off PTI. Like you said, it's all based on NRT points.
Yeah.
So, for people that want to get out and play in some of these events, and the Challenger events are great. There's some great
Yeah,
fields. You get some great matches. So the way to get into those is, to just play in them, right? Because it doesn't matter if you're a 5 PTI. If there's a guy who's a 25 PTI and he's played in 3 that year, he's going to get in before you.
Yeah, yeah. And at 20, like, so I think when we played Puig and Tanaka the first round, we were PTI favorites, but they've, played so many they played they were seated much higher, or maybe not much higher, but and like at that point, like PTI really doesn't even matter. They're playing pro tournaments the whole year round. So
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
they have a crazy amount of experience, and it's always a battle with them. So that's definitely interesting. And then so talking about expectations. So Lucas this year, he's like, if we can win the first round match, he goes, that's our Super Bowl. He goes, the first round match is our Super Bowl. He goes, if we can do that, we get more NRT than like the 4 matches we won in the back draw last year. So I was like, okay, like sounds good. And then a plus was we got to play McNerney and Morgan if we won. So like I really wanted to experience that and just see how good those guys were. So that was sick. But yeah, so Lucas said we exceeded our expectations. We won our first round match, and then we won like 2 backdraw matches, or 1 backdraw match. Was it 2? I don't even remember.
I don't know.
I think it was 1.
Look it up. 1. Yeah. Matt. I always mispronounce him. Muo
and Adam. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we won 2 matches. Yeah. So yeah,
it was a great showing. I mean, when you have McNerney and Morgan in the second round, expectations kind of can go out the window at that point.
They fizzled out a little bit in the second round.
Yeah.
But
I mean, what was it, 6-0, 6-2, and they beat Durant 6-0, 6-3. So that's pretty good company.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say much, but
let's get into that because I gotta like.
I don't know if there's anything to get into,
but not so much about Durant, but your match with them, because I watched it, and the second set was very, very different. Like I felt like you were, you got your feet wet and saw that level of play, and then you took 2 games in the second set. But to me, you were playing more your game. Like that second set, you were playing more JK ball than you were in the first set, and I'm telling you, Luke, I watched it. I mean, McNerney and Morgan are national champs. They're incredible. But I think if it were a third set, it might have been 3 games. You know what I mean? That they took off them because they were doing different. So you talk about it. You're the one that played the match. So
I mean, I went into it, I'm like, there's no way we're winning. So, yeah, you get to play like, when you go into any sort of game and, like there's no chance you're going to win, you play super loose, you play your game, you're like, who cares? And that's kind of how I went into it. I was like trying to dink and blitz him, which was, obviously a mistake, but I had to go for it. Just going for maybe some, like, I guess the match before played super, conservative, played smarter shots against these guys. I kind of went for a little bit more. Um, and it was fun. I mean, and I think they did the same thing too. Like Graham hit like a freaking like sky, yeah, like a sky moon cutter. Like I don't think you did. You see in the 6 hours of his final?
There's a video of that on Cutter's Rule.
There is a video of that on Cutter's Rule, and Lucas did get it, which was wild.
With Tiger Mama commenting.
Yeah, holy schmoly. Yeah, so like you're not going to see him do that in the 6 hours he played. The national championship match, but so I think like both sides were definitely playing a little bit like loose, a little bit more fun, but yeah, it was sick. Those guys are disgusting.
What surprised you about them? Is that anything? I mean, you obviously went in knowing how good they were. Was there anything that surprised you just in terms of shot selection, shot ability? What?
Adam Morgan's got like, I would say the best drive. Not maybe top 2, top 3 drives. I mean, he hits it so often. He hits it from down low, up high. He can take it from anywhere. It could be a roller, it could be spin, and he places it, an inch over the net every single time, exactly where he wants it. So I found that amazing, and he can do it from both sides too.
Yeah,
like a lot of guys really like focus on one side. I mean, he can do it on both sides, which is terrifying. So even if you think you hit a good shot, he might just like send it right back at you. So that was really cool to watch. And then, I mean, McNerdy's hands are sick. I mean, like I hit a drive at him and like he sucks the life out of the ball and it literally just drops. It's
and he can hit any spin and
underrated too. I mean, he can cut the ball. He can hit like the cut overheads, cutters from anywhere. I mean, there were times I had 8 feet of court open and I thought, easy passing shot. He took one step and reached out. He covered the whole thing and just dropped me. It was like, yeah.
It's got the wingspan of a pterodactyl.
He's a freak. He did some like things too that I've never seen, maybe because he's so tall, but like we'd hit a lob and he'd hold it here and then like turn his wrist and like catch maybe me or Lucas coming middle and like take it to the corner. Yeah, he did a lot of stuff I've never seen before, which was really neat.
Yeah. And then just, this is kind of a question that's, more general, but just about, playing with, sometimes, and I think a lot of club players can relate to this too, but when you play with Lucas, right, Lucas is a, top, whatever, 60, 70 player in the world. And he's been much higher than that at times and, a legend of the game and, -10 or whatever PTI. So when you're playing with someone that, is a stronger partner than you, which, most, club players will have this happen, many times a season. How do you kind of find that happy medium of, deferring to him, but also, you have so much firepower, you can hit any drive, you can hit any spin and, not losing your game and what makes you a good player. And even, when you're playing, a team like McNerney and Morgan, right? Like you might go into that match saying, oh, I don't want to mess up. I don't want to, make mistakes in this match. So how do you kind of still be effective and do the things that make you a good player while, deferring and trying not to, lose points because you want Lucas to be the one, kind of deciding points out there?
Yeah. I sometimes have trouble, like especially at the net. Like if Lucas is taking every single ball, you kind of lose your rhythm.
Yeah.
Like when the ball comes to you, you're like, oh crap, should I take it? Should I not? Should I let it? And when you do hit it, you're like, do I go for something I normally would? So like I get tight in those scenarios. I kind of like obviously I think Lucas should be taking more balls because he's much better than me, but I don't mind. Like I would like to take a few more balls just so I can kind of get a feel for the game and still kind of stay in that rhythm. But like sometimes I'll be sitting there because Lucas doesn't really have like crazy kill for as good as he is. He doesn't have like crazy kill shots too. He'll hit 60 rollers in a row until he gets the point.
Yeah.
So there could be a lot of standing around. But I don't know. I want to win. So if me standing at the net, hitting 20% of the balls is like the best way to win it, I'll do that happily. I know some other guys may have trouble, like they want to hit more balls, yada, yada, yada. But I really have no problem just sitting there and playing my part. And like a lot of people think, you're not hitting as many balls, you're not being as effective. But like person on the right side, they're doing their job. If they're,
Yeah,
it doesn't
exactly.
seem like you're doing much, but like you're doing your job if, if you're hitting the volleys back and just kind of getting out of that person's way. So, um,
It's an interesting dichotomy, right? Because there's a bunch of teams like Nunez and Powers, right? Powers is kind of the setup guy, even though he can do
yeah,
anything
I
on the
think
court.
Power should hit more, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Steven Mitchell and Durant, like Steven can do a lot of stuff, but he defers. Even
Mhm.
Morgan to an extent, So it's interesting to see guys that have every shot in the book and can do everything, but they're kind of playing that setup role almost. So
Yeah.
just how you kind of keep your rhythm and flow during that is
Yeah. I'd
something
say,
that I've always wondered.
yeah, if Powers can take a back seat to
Yeah,
anybody, I think, anybody in the paddle world can do that too. And they've had a bunch of success. So
yeah, that's a great point.
Um, you did lose to Lakeman Leon.
yeah, those bastards.
That's the second time you lost to them at Montclair.
Yeah.
And I bring that up specifically because a lot of people are looking at them as making a big jump next year.
Oh, yeah, I can see it. They're so good.
So what happened in that match? So you played them tighter than you did the first time, and it went to 7-5 in the third set. You want to talk about them or the match at all?
The first time we played them in the semifinals of the Montclair NRT. We won the first set like 6-3, but it was like a very competitive 6-3. And then I know I was fizzing out. I know Lucas fizzed out too. Like I was starting to feel like twinges in the quads and stuff like that. And like Lucas was gassed. And then what's his name? Ethan. He was the ad guy. He just like woke up and just started playing out of his mind. I think they ended up winning like 6-3, 6-0, or 6-1 in that match. And then we played him again in the Nationals. I think it was like the second round of the 16 back draw.
Yeah.
And it was like almost the opposite. We were like a little fizzed out in the first set, and we got it was like a 3-hour match, and I think the first set was like 10 or 15 minutes. They like destroyed us 6-1.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I think we won like something similar, 6-3 or 6-4 in the second set. And then the last set, I think the first two games of the last set went 30 to 45 minutes pop, like hour and a half. And that was, we lost 7-5. So
5 times the amount of the first set.
Yeah. The first, we tell everyone like 3-hour match, but the first set was 10 or 15 minutes. They like blew us out. And it's just, I don't know. Like we played a good match, but like a lot of game points, like a lot of deuces. We just kept going back and forth, but we just couldn't, like anytime we had to add in or add out, we just couldn't convert and take the game. They're just super steady. They have the spins, they have the hands.
I don't know Lakeman's background, but Leon played at SMU, so he played an extremely high level of tennis.
He hits a paddle ball like it's a tennis ball. Like his drives are, he's ripping balls, a few feet behind the baseline. Backhand, forehand, it doesn't matter. Yeah. So you hit one short volley, and he's going to just keep pounding you until he gets something.
He's athletic too, right?
He's quick. super quick. He'll blitz. He likes blitzing. He'll blitz. He kind of does it all, really. He's fantastic. So his is playing to him is a little tougher because he has that offense on both sides. Ben does too. He's got a good backhand, really good forehand, but like it felt a little safer coming to Ben's backhand. But Ethan's backhand was ridiculous. Just as good as his forehand. So it was really tough to attack those guys. And Ben was so steady too. So, where the heck do you go?
Yeah.
And we really don't have the crazy spin
yet.
Yeah. Hopefully
you're gonna make a racket change.
Maybe I'll switch but those guys are great, and they're honestly even like nicer human beings. The 2 times we've played them, like I've really honestly enjoyed it. We're joking around throughout the match, even though it's really competitive, intense. I could definitely see those guys going, top 15, maybe even top 10.
After Philly, we had some text back and forth, and you said all you can think about is how to get better at paddle. So it seems like you obviously love the sport,
Yeah.
but it seems like you got a little bit of a fire under you to get better.
Yeah. I just want to, I mean, I feel like I just playing against those guys, I am competing, and I think,
You're definitely not out of place, on those courts.
I mean, I feel like I can compete with those guys. So, and to be honest, I mean, we really don't like getting Lucas out on a paddle court is impossible. So
You said that you guys didn't play many practice matches this year because I'm
yeah,
assuming
I mean, we played 3 tournaments together. Maybe like a handful of practice matches. So like I really just like I see what these guys are doing, and like I know like my drives is good, but it's not like a weapon where I step into it and I can like pass somebody. Or so I think my returns need to be more consistent. Um, obviously get a little bit more spin. I feel like everything just can be refined a lot more. And like after seeing Lucas and Graham hit those touch drop shots, I mean, like that's something else I want to get better with my hands and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot I want to work on and get better. So after playing all those like great guys and watching some great paddle that weekend, I definitely want to I'm eager to, get out on the paddle court and like drill and actually, try and get better rather than
for more background. I mean, you've kind of had, I don't want to say like a monumental rise, but I mean, what, a year ago, 2 years ago, you were in the 20s for PTI, and you've kind of just been, shooting down the ladder the whole time. So I think maybe if you could speak to how you were able to do that, I guess, playing better players, playing more tournaments obviously helps, but the stuff that you've done to get better from where you were, and then how that will, how you'll kind of keep doing that stuff to get to the next level that you want to get. So is that drilling? Is that just playing more matches? How do you kind of go about it?
Not really drilling. I can't say maybe I've like drilled once or twice, really like nothing like that. But I always, anytime I did like a practice match, like whether it was like you and I, going out there, me, Sean, I always had like some sort of thing I wanted to work on in mind, whether it was like a roller or, higher lobs or something. So I'd kind of just make sure, like prioritize one type of shot I was doing just to kind of figure that out. One thing like Lucas taught me, like reading like screen drives. Like if you can tell someone is about to hit a screen drive, looking to like close the net and like stuff it, just stuff like that. And I mean, I think the biggest reason I made the jump, I think was because of working at Navesink. Getting to play against and with like Lucas and Victor, I think was huge for me. Stuff I was getting away with, against guys I was playing, like was getting put in my chest, against those guys. So they helped me, have a better mindset, better shot selection when I'm out there playing, which was huge. I think that was a big, because I think I've gotten like a little bit more spin, nothing crazy, but I think just kind of
your volleys, I think, have gotten so much better.
I think that's probably the best part of my game is volleying. But I think just shot selection, knowing when and where to hit a ball, I think has improved a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good lesson, for club players and, people that obviously aren't playing on the pro tour, but just focus on certain things, and try to work on those. For the next 2 weeks, I'm going to try to hit a better serve. This is what I tell the guys I play with, right? If you're just lobbing the serve over, right, unless you actually try to hit a serve, you're just going to stay with that serve the entire time, right? So you have to tinker, you have to experiment, and try to add some things to your arsenal and repertoire out there.
I totally agree. Yeah, everyone's so scared to like lose the point. I'm like, if it's for fun, I mean, that's the whole point. You're trying to get better. So, you might suck for a match or two, but your serve's going to get so much better in the future. And that's the way to do it. That's the way to think about it, I think.
Definitely. And Sean, do you want to maybe kind of go rapid fire here down the, some of our line items as we kind of wrap up?
Yeah, I like that. Toughest opponent outside of McNerney?
Probably Lakeman and Leon.
All right. What about non-pro?
Non-pro. I mean, there's so many guys. The Tossic brothers are ferocious.
You're already on the podcast. No need for brownie points.
I started playing a lot this year, a lot more with Tommy McDonald and C. Wright. I think he's fantastic. Pat Haggerty's amazing. Started playing. He just started a few years ago too. I think, right? Yeah, he's amazing. Cheslock stinks. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean,
All right.
yeah, we got. I mean, I think we have a lot of good players around this area, so it's nice getting to play with a whole different array of guys because everyone has a different style of play.
What do you consider your biggest win so far?
It's got to be our first main draw nationals win. I think. I don't think Lucas thought we were going to win our back draw match either against Matt and Adam.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a good win too.
Definitely.
Toughest loss.
Toughest loss.
And that could be a complete blowout, or it could be, a battle that you lost in a tiebreaker or whatever.
I think losing to Ben and Ethan in that back draw was tough.
Okay. What about the Lubau Daniil loss?
Oh, with Steve. Hey, that was like another that was like a McNerney Morgan's type situation. Yeah. So I just told Steve, I'm like, just drive every freaking ball. Don't even throw the ball up in the air because they'll probably put it away. So we just started driving everything, and then he ended it with the most ridiculous shot of all time.
The dagger?
No, he hit. I thought I hit it like a perfect ball into the corner in the screens. I'm like, there's no way he's digging it out. He dug it out and it hit the top of the net post and took a 40-degree turn back into the court for a winner. And that's how he won it.
Just how he drew it up.
Yep. I'm sure. I mean, he's the only guy that would probably think of a shot like that. So
how would you describe your game?
Short spurts of controlled chaos, I feel.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you could give club players of all levels one bit of advice in paddle, what would it be?
Drive low, lob high.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
How do you approach the mental side of the game? It always amazes me because, as we've discussed on the court several times, you never know what the score is.
Never.
So what is your mental approach? Focusing specifically on just the shots that you want to make?
Yeah, I think I'm just focusing on I bank on the other, three guys knowing what the heck's going on with the score. Yeah, I don't know. I just I guess I'm too focused on the point and I genuinely don't know. I just have no clue what the score is at all time. I'm focused in playing, but I just I couldn't tell you what the score was afterwards. So maybe just
he's too locked in that he doesn't even
know. Yeah. Maybe I'm just too in the moment. So, but yeah, no clue.
You play in a lot of amazing non-pro tournaments. A few I'll mention: Cliff Clark's Joust,
great.
Paddle Joust, the Christmas Classic, Justin Letty's tournament, and Brian Severance's the Chicken Wire. All great tournaments. What is your favorite tournament that's non-pro? It could even be a member guest.
Probably the Chicken Wire.
It
is the Chicken Wire. Yeah. It's so good. It's so much fun, and
people have no idea. It's like this tournament that no one knows about, and it's pretty special.
Yeah. It's gotten so big too. I mean, I always see the pictures of the first few years, and it was 8 guys, and now it's there's hundreds of people there. It's a party. 3 clubs. Yeah, 3 clubs. It's so cool. I mean, you got the guys playing the horns when you're walking in.
Yeah.
I mean, they think of everything. It's so much fun. What'd you say?
Barbers in the hut.
Yeah, you get the haircuts in the hut. They just think of everything. It's equally competitive, equally fun. I love that event.
Who's your favorite partner outside of Lucas?
Lucas isn't even my favorite partner.
That's a little bit of insider information.
He just shit talks me the whole time. I mean, I love playing with you. Honestly, everyone. I love playing with the Taussiks. I love, Cliff and Jubb, Reznikov. Who else? I've gotten to play with. Who is it? Pat Haggerty a bunch. He's been fantastic. Matt Cheslock. My first Chicken Wire, we won together. We always give each other shit, but he's a great partner to have. He's super chill. Yeah, I think that's
So the next question is so timely and appropriate because you do love playing with your friends, and you obviously have had this meteoric rise and level of ability, but you're willing to play with 45 PTI schleps like myself because you just love playing and having fun. Do you think this hurts you at all in terms of game development or?
no, I don't think so. I think it helps to play, guys at like the
Better
highest
guys?
level just
Yeah.
because, their drives are that much better, their volleys are that much better, lobs, screens, serves. So I think it's nice, to play against like guys like that. But no, I don't think it hurts too much. I think it's great to I think the screens slow everything down. Like tennis, when teaching tennis, I always thought like teaching it killed my tennis game because you're not looking at the ball, you're
Yeah.
playing again, everything's slower paced. And but like when I teach paddle, like I'm still like the screens I'm getting off of like, intermediate women are like the same screens I'm getting off of
Yeah.
higher level guys. So
Same reps. Yeah.
yeah, it is. Yeah. Like I'm not really like that same pace ball. Like I don't know.
Yep.
I feel that it really doesn't hurt my game. I think just getting out there and kind of focusing on, my game is the most important thing. But I obviously do think if playing higher level people definitely helps more.
And
Yep.
I think here for the last two questions to kind of end it here, your paddle of choice right now.
It's the Harrow Ballistic Light. It's the only paddle I've ever used, and it's my favorite of all time.
And it looks
That's a
like
rarity on the Pro Tour.
say that again, Luke, because I interrupted.
That's a rarity on the Pro Tour, I think.
No, I every match I get made fun of for having it. So
It looks like he got it out of a pinata.
It does work though. It does do some damage.
yeah, I think it's got great feel. There's like no grit on it, which is nuts. And everyone gets a kick that I'm using like the lighter version of it. But yeah, maybe I'll do some experimenting in the off season or something and see if there's a better paddle out there.
He's
Probably
a free agent for the paddle companies. He's a free agent if you want to send some.
yeah.
And then to wrap it up here, JK, favorite hut.
It's Navesink.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got the Sonos speakers blasting. They've got coolers of every drink you can think of. They've got the cameras. They've got 5 courts. The lights are terrible, but they've got the 4 lights